Hey, this is Frank Hong. Welcome to my first video on concept art for film and video games. I'm joined here with my roommate, Levi Somerville. We're just going to show this very short introduction to thumbnail making, really. So I started a new file. The guidelines really there for us to place in a bunch of thumbnails. Created a simple 16:9 ratio canvas, and I'm gonna copy it here, resize it, and lay down maybe like a 10 per sheet, thumbnail sheet. You can find this finished template on my Gumroad video channel. It's Gumroad/Frank Hong. And Levi here, we're just going to talk about the general art making and the thought process behind these. So the most important things about thumbnail making is really to find the composition, find the idea, get some really quick warm up going so that you get paint on the paper, so to speak.
Composition pretty much makes or breaks it now,
Yeah. It's mostly what I'm trying to do with the thumbnails.
It's all composition.
It's all about composition. There's no point starting a painting unless you have at least a general idea in your head and you're getting the compositions down. Because right now the techniques are so advanced. People start concept art with photo bashing and everything. You can pretty much render anything, even if you're a beginner.
It's much easier to cheat everything but composition, really.
Exactly.
Composition is the hardest.
Composition is the hardest because you can't really cheat it.
You just gotta do what you're doing here, I guess.
Yeah.
You always work off gray?
I always work off gray because it's a neutral color for me to push and pull from. If I'm working from white or black, then you're working with absolutes. And to pull from that, you need to sort of pull more in certain areas and pull less in others. So it's a little bit difficult. And gray, just everything's more neutral for you to look at. Your eyes get less tired. The white doesn't look too bright and the black doesn't look too dark. You don't want to work in absolutes. Actually, never work in 100% black. There's no room for you to push anymore if you're working with 100% black.
Is the image already in your head at this point, or are you just kind of messing around with random strokes, or what?
I started this painting, this sheet, after I already completed like a full sheet of thumbnails. So I had this idea of this monster that's hiding underneath this water, this lake. So I'm going to be playing around with this idea for a while. So the series, my idea is to paint the hero going hunting, and he's going to hunt all sorts of different animals and monsters in outer worldly settings. In this case, I've just been thinking about maybe there's some kind of wyvern underneath the water, but I don't really want to use that word. I'm laying down simple tones here, trying to push the depths straight from the start. It's very important to establish a space at the horizon line and then the whole depth of the painting, so that you get where you're standing from, where your perspective is.
You're working really zoomed out too, which is good.
Yeah, if I work really zoomed out, then it doesn't really allow me to do any details at all.
So you don't noodle or anything like that?
You definitely should not noodle on your thumbnails.
The composition stage, yeah.
Yeah, you want to make sure you get something nice composed. There's plenty of time to noodle later on, but this is
for new people. For anyone who doesn't know, noodling is when you're just how would you describe noodling?
It's
when
you zoomed in, you're getting caught up
with,
about the details, painting textures when you have no business painting them. That's early on.
The least important thing at this stage.
Yeah,
definitely.
You could spend 40 hours noodling on details, and it still wouldn't make a very good painting if your composition's crap.
Worse is if you noodle the whole thing, it ends up a mess of
that would
competing focal points and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why it's here circled here. I want to have a very good idea. It's like going into this painting that I want to place a focal point, maybe somewhere towards the lake, and then I'm gonna put a guy in the foreground. So you're gonna have simple ideas to go into it before. having a focal point is so important. Just you can't render everything equally. There's no point doing that. In concept art, you're always trying to tell a story, trying to tell maybe a setting or a design or a mood. But if you're rendering everything inch perfect equally, then this is not going to end up very good. Eye direction is one of the most important thing. You look at the master's paintings, they always have a very clear eye direction. These bordering edges, these foreground elements, they're all doing their job as a anchor, as a directional anchor that keeps your interest where they want you to look.
What are you doing here?
Just pushing some background silhouettes, really. Maybe some trees, because I wanted to establish, where the setting is. It's a cave. There's a forest. I'm getting to the water in a bit.
How long do you spend on each one? Did you say what's your rule? You mentioned before.
For thumbnails, you want to be as fast as you can possibly be, because the idea is not to get the one you're working on perfect. The idea is to get more and more, so that later on you can choose from it and maybe clean up one or two of them. So you want to spend anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes on each one, and definitely don't spend more than 10 or 15, because that would be a painting, that wouldn't be a thumbnail anymore. This one is almost a little bit too it's going to be developed a little bit more than what a general thumbnail is. General thumbnails is you want to get major, bigger shapes to get your viewing point correct. And
you're good at using these texture brushes or whatever. Like, do you have these brushes available somewhere, or like?
Oh yeah. Most of these texture brushes are from years ago, where the master concept artists, they
so you
just
got like a stockpile.
Yeah, I got like a stockpile, and I put them all together now, and there's ones that I use a lot.
How necessary are they, to do this?
You don't need these for thumbnails at all.
Yeah.
And then there's only two brushes I use for the thumbnails. One is the standard round brush, which is have the pressure set to opacity and flow, not on size, because you don't want to get those really thin lines when you press really lightly.
What are you doing here?
I'm getting a general reflection on the lake, and I'm using lasso tool a lot to select shapes and just filling them in. So you want to keep some areas, most of the areas you want to keep them just flat. You want to fill with a slight gradient maybe, but you don't want to be painting in with stroke by stroke and a lot of details, because value change kind of equals shape change, form change. And if you don't want form change, you want it to be laid in opaque, so the painting or the thumbnail stay relatively clean.
I noticed the lasso tool is so it gives you that hard edge, but it also lets you go soft in the rest of the selection. It's really cool.
For sure.
I don't use it enough.
Yeah, well, you definitely should.
It's
lasso tool,
right?
Yeah, it's so important. It's one of the fastest painting tools. Lasso tool, I cannot make a painting without the lasso tool now.
You think so? Especially for water and mountains and things like this.
Yeah, it's just so easy to lay something in and then noodle it afterwards. Also, the thing with lasso tool is you don't need to, because the edges are so harsh, they're so crisp. Sometimes you just want to make a selection and just use certain part of the edge. You don't want to be filling in completely.
Like you're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to work off the top. So I'm getting this idea.
You want the hard top, but the soft bottom. Yeah,
because the water depth, and there's like a creature, with their back pressed against the water. So as it goes deeper, the water goes deeper. Obviously, there's more occlusion, and the top is going to be more sharper than the bottom.
I see.
So here's all the spike stings sticking out from the water.
From the monster underwards.
Yeah. And that would be one of the focal points. You don't really want to have more than 2 at most focal points, that is.
just you're just
yeah,
softening the bottom.
just softening the bottom because where the water meet, and you don't want to have the water forming like a hill upward because water doesn't gravity keeps it level and it doesn't really change shape. So I'll go back in and I'll paint in those little horizontal water lines there.
Where do you learn this stuff? Like where how gravity affects water? I guess
practice,
it's
just or common sense, really.
That's not common sense, is it? I guess gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It pays off to
know what gravity
is. Know gravity is, yeah. I mean, if you don't know gravity, it would be pretty awful.
It's easy to forget though when you're painting.
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of the painting process is counterintuitive, so you're training your brain to work as more of a camera. Your brain is a render engine mostly. So a lot of the times it doesn't really render things the way you want or like realistically. There's a lot of visual errors. Here another example of using the lasso tool is that I'm actually selecting and leaving out some of the areas where I want the wave to be sort of visible.
How do you make the selection invisible like that? What's shortcut?
Control H.
Oh.
So you press L to go to the lasso tool. Control H will hide the selection so that it doesn't block your view. And then you hit Control H again to bring it back. And this is just painting in, some of the reflections, because anything that's sticking out from the water from that point, it's going to have a bit of reflection. It's going to cast a shadow also. This is just to clean up the image, make everything mesh together a little bit more, because the light bounces around, and if you put one thing over here, it will almost always affect something on the other side.
It's like the weight.
You gotta counterbalance it. So I've worked off on the midground a little bit. I'm gonna put a guy here in the foreground. You see this done a lot. This is a silhouette thing.
Yeah, the token back to the camera.
Yeah.
Silhouette. It's got like a Monster Hunter vibe.
I love Monster Hunter.
Me too.
Yeah, just use the lasso tool and hold down shift when you want to...
this is all lasso tool.
This is all lasso tool.
This whole thumbnail. It's just lasso tool.
Just add and subtract.
And what are your layers like here? Have you used a lot of new layers for this?
No, I only had 2. You realize I had one extra layer on top of the original box, bounding box, I guess. I keep the box on locked on transparency so I don't paint outside of the borders. But if I want to add another layer on top, you just press Control Shift G, I believe, to layer clip that. So it will stay within the transparency that's locked in the bottom layer.
What are you doing here? Like, what do you feel the painting needs that's making you add these?
Because you take a look at the horizon line there, is pretty much like a straight line cutting across the painting, and I don't like that. I don't like to have one continuous line that's sort of going from left to right. Any line that's so straight and so crisp, it's directional. It has an energy pull. So it will actually direct your eye outside of the painting. So right now I'm trying to add a certain something to cut that off, at least disturb it a little bit, so that your focal point stay within where you want people to see.
I see.
So all these lines and these directional arrows, they'll actually funnel in your attention towards the focal point. So there I'm actually adding just a little bit of a water droplet thing, like a small waterfall.
It almost looks pretty much done. at this
Yeah,
point.
you really don't want to push it too far, because thumbnail's really there to just get an idea down. You want to do that. The key is to do as many as possible, and then just choose your best ones.
You still got like 6, 7 more 8 slots.
Yeah.
But this is like what directors like to see too, right? They
Oh
like
yeah, for sure. They love to see this.
more
They
than
love to
even
see this.
paintings
When you
sometimes.
get slapped with a script, you better be doing a lot of these, because the thing with art directors and the directors alike is they like having choices. They are making the choices, not you, because they can just override you like nobody's business. But you want to give them some options, and yeah. So we're coming towards the end of the video. If you like the videos that I'm doing, just check out my channel. You can find the free template for thumbnails on my Gumroad channel. It's gumroad.com/Frank Hong. And catch you guys on the next video. Thank you.